What's up, everybody? Hopefully, everybody is doing awesome. It is a wonderful Wednesday evening, and I am putting in some long hours of work today, but I wanted to jump on real quick and kind of talk about just my thoughts on the awesome news and give a big congratulations. So thank you, Sandra. Thank you guys so much for jumping in, sharing it with your followers. I wanted to, if those of you that didn't know it, hey John, how's it going? That didn't hear the awesome news, but Periscope got voted, or the App Store named Periscope the #1 or best app of 2015. Hey Jim, hey Chef Levizette, thanks Chris for sharing. Thank you all for sharing the broadcast, sharing it the Twitter especially as well, which is really awesome. See that, it's awesome news that it got voted #1. Periscope did a blog post telling people, thank you, and kind of going out and above and beyond. But for me, it was interesting to see. I didn't think Periscope would have got #1. That's for sure. It wasn't something that I would have expected. But actually, I think the reason that it actually got #1 is actually the Periscope Summit right there. Guys, make sure you're following Periscope Summit. I think the Periscope Summit, what I learned at the Periscope Summit is the reason I believe the Periscope app got voted the best of 2015. And it's because of something that we probably don't even think of when we're using this app. Cheers, Periscope Summit. And it's actually something we don't think about. But when brands are leveraging apps and they're talking about technology, most of the time they're focused on a target demographic, and they always want to know, is this latest app like Snapchat? Does it have who's using the app? What's the use cases? How are people doing that? And what I learned hey Rob, thank you guys all so much for jumping in and sharing. But what I actually learned, no hat today. I'm actually at a client conference room here in Santa Clara, California. But actually what I learned at Periscope Summit was Periscope, the app, isn't the reason that it's a game changer. It's actually the ability and the understanding that everybody has a story to tell. And everybody has something to share, and we all can learn from everybody in every walk of life, no matter your background, your color, your industry. And the community is the game changer, but I think the ability to appeal to every single audience, every single background, every single thing, really the power of this app is not me on the stream, but really the story that we all have within us. And it might sound cliche, it might sound corny, but for me, when I went to Periscope Summit, one of the biggest things for me that was really crazy is that there was so many people from so many different walks of life, and I could learn from someone that was, a health coach, or someone that was periscoping when they went gardening, or Mitch Oates, who's in Australia, who's gone scuba diving with Periscope. Hey, what's up, Darren? Pro bloggers in the house. Cheers. Thank you guys so much for sharing. But so for me, what I wanted to share is I actually think about Periscope and live streaming, and I don't even care about the technology itself. I don't care about call to actions, or, I'm working here right now with brands on how they can leverage this. But I think the power of this tool is that we all want the ability to share our story. And I think we're living in a new time that no one can feel isolated or solo, because if you have unique hobbies, if you like, underwater basket weaving, you can Periscope about underwater basket weaving, and it's not just about telling your story at your local farmer's market or telling it at your local library or maybe a YMCA or something in your area. You're able to actually share that story with the world. So unlike every other app, let's say Facebook Live. Facebook Live is actually live streaming to people who already know who you are. And what really is the game changer here is you're able to post this to Twitter and connect with people that have a shared purpose and passion that probably don't already know you. Meerkat actually, to answer that question, Meerkat actually does it with GoPro. I believe GoPro isn't the connection here. The real power of Periscope is still, in my opinion, the ability. Your scope after the conferences were hyped up. Could see you thought it was a game changer. Yes, you know what? And here's the thing. This is something. Hey, thanks Hillary for jumping in. Appreciate you guys for jumping in. But really, what I work with brands, when I work with a small business, when I work with an enterprise, when I work with thought leaders, no matter what their big size is, I don't ever talk about the technology. I don't ever talk about Periscope. I don't ever talk about growing your followers or adding more hearts. But what I do talk about is, what is your story that you can tell? How can you share unique insights? And have you built a community? And to me, that is the game changer. Periscope is awesome. You know what? And here's the thing. Don't worry about the bots. Don't worry about the content overflow. Because here's the thing. You know how you stand out from the noise? Who named Periscope App of the Year? Oh, Apple did. Here's the blog. Best of 2015 via the App Store. So what I actually think is, it's so hard to stand out from the noise. It's so hard to prove that you're authentic. It's so hard to share your knowledge and have a conversation. This scope is only great because I have you guys in here that are asking me questions and are actually part of my story. So I'm sharing my insights, but it's a participatory concept and stream, and it's unlike any other social network in the sense that this grows authenticity so easily. And standing out from the noise, yes, that is a huge challenge, and really finding people. And yes, the best 86 million Twitter could have spent. I couldn't agree more, Jim. And really what I think that's something we can all learn from this is it puts social back in social media. But it really, if we think about it, why do we love technology? We actually love, thank you, Cindy Brown. I saw your tweet earlier about my blog post. I really do appreciate it. We love technology because it allows us to be more productive, more active, or do more things that ultimately allow us to connect with people. And my friend Brian Kramer, who lives down the street here, he always says human to human, right? That's the future. And I believe the future of business is community. And the best way that you build a community, the best way that you relay your message and tell your story, letting people look in your digital eyeballs. That's what I call these right here. You guys are looking at my digital eyeballs. Might look a little tired, a little jet lagged. I'm on the West Coast. But really, your digital eyeballs, you might be able to fake a Periscope here or there. You might be able to convey a message and act like you didn't see comments because you don't want to say, I don't know, or that you're sorry. But, for me, here's something that is important. People were reaching out to me saying, Brian, I can't believe you admitted how wrong you were on Facebook Live. And I was like, why would I not admit it? I was so guaranteeing that Facebook would never roll out a live streaming platform to everybody that I said there's no way they're going to roll this out to everybody. It just doesn't make sense. It's not in their business model. But guess what? They did, and I have to admit that I'm wrong. So responding to comments, engaging, providing value, and then ultimately, when you let someone look in your digital eyeballs and you're willing to say, I don't know, tell the truth, and convey your message and respect people's time, it is a game changer. So to me, to the authenticity is the secret. And the crazy part about authenticity and the crazy thing about transparency and video is it doesn't guarantee someone will trust you. But it does guarantee that someone will see who you are and they'll be able to build trust faster than anywhere before. I've told this story a lot, but for me, I spend a year building a really good, strong relationships on Twitter to really, leverage and become friends with people. On live streaming, it's a month or a couple months, and all of a sudden, so I've been watching someone stream and they're looking on my streams. All of a sudden, those stories, that relationship, it doesn't take a year. It's now amplified. And that is, to me, the game changer. Periscope has allowed me to connect globally with so many people. Yes, we are no longer, Periscope proves that we are not limited by our border, our backgrounds, our where we live in the world, on the ability to collaborate and truly build audience. My signature speech is about how to build trust in relationships. I love hearing that, Hillary. Why do you think set Periscope apart from other streaming services? Periscope, in my opinion, because they had Twitter backing them, which is a big thing, because then live streaming is already very vulnerable for brands and people. And when you have an app like Meerkat, which is a startup, people are already taking a risk by doing live streaming. So it's a second risk by going after a small startup that might go away. And to me, that's a big change. We need a beard tribe. And so that was a big piece. I think the other thing they did really, really well is they understood the value in Periscope is a lot less in the idea of putting a whole bunch of stuff on screen and not being willing to adapt. But the UI, yes, there it is, Jim. For exactly where I was going. They focused on the idea that, here's the thing. People always ask me, Brian, well, when you upload your video onto YouTube, it's not like the perfect content. It's not exactly clear. It's not exactly everything. Well, guess what? Guess what it is? And thanks, Moto, for sharing my scope. Guess what? My target audience is watching this on their phone. And guess what this is perfect for? It's perfect for watching on your phone. It's perfect quality, and I can engage and I can build an audience and understand where my audience is. What are your thoughts on virtual augmented reality? I love VR. I'm a Robert Scoble disciple, so I believe VR is a big game changer and something that we could implement across the board. I think VR is going to go from being something cool and a kind of something that's out there to something that we are starting to look at for test running and training and some of these things that we really could do some great things. So for me, the reason I love Periscope and I think Periscope app is such powerful is you don't even have to be on video to get value from this app. What other app do you know of that you could call this your favorite app and you could have never done a Periscope live stream? How many people here that are commenting that have never done it? Put a number 1 in the comments if you've never done a live stream and yet you're on here listening to mine. I would love to hear if there's anyone that's in here, because I've found so many people that said, Brian, Periscope has changed my life and I've never hit the button. And that, to me, is something that Periscope got right, because every other app, if you're not using the main function of the app, you sure as heck aren't calling it a game changer and a great app. But because this app allows for conversation, community, and really you can add value without ever being on video, without ever using the main feature of this tool. And to me, you match that with every walk of life, every business, every background. I can tell you there isn't an industry that I believe it can't leverage this technology. And I've had people talk about funeral homes. I've had people talk about tax collectors. And every time I believe there is a way, because I think everyone has a story. And if every brand is great because they have great people, and every person has a story, guess what? Every brand has a story to tell and can leverage this. The $1 million question is, how can Twitter monetize Periscope? It's not. I think actually that's the wrong $1 million question. I actually think the $1 million question is, how can Periscope, or how can Twitter embrace and allow Periscope to actually grow and turn followers from lurkers to power users on Twitter? Twitter's problem isn't finding new users for the platform. It's to get people to go from a lurker or a new user on Twitter to a power user. And to do that, it's about authenticity. Dan Gingas in the house. What's up, Dan? How are you? Dan's one of my favorite people. I used to stream our church service. There you go. So for me, guys, recapping this for you guys that are just jumping on, Apple Store just announced today that Periscope is the best of 2015. Yes. Well, you know what, Matt. Hey, what's up, Matt? Matt Rappaport's in the house. I love the qualities of Periscope you highlighted in your video and blog post. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and that's really, my blog post, for you guys that haven't read it, it's up on my website now, isocialfans.com. And it wasn't supposed to take, it wasn't meant to take a shot at Facebook, because I actually think Facebook live streaming is a game changer, and it's great because it now validated live streaming. But my blog post is the one I was mentioning right here. Dear new Facebook live streaming experts. And really what my point here, and what I highlight in this, in my Periscope, is that when I ask people to share with their followers, I ask them to share to Twitter, right there, perfect. 888_woman just shared this to Twitter. And the reason I say that I want my audience to share to Twitter even more so than I want them to share to their followers is because I want to grow this community. I want to have people find this app, find this live stream, that don't know who Brian Fanzo is, but they were attracted by the title or the person that was actually asking them to watch this. Because, in my opinion, to grow your community, it has to be unfiltered, and it has to allow you to connect with people that don't know who you are, but you share a common purpose and a common passion. Because remember, I didn't know, exactly, Meerkat, I started on Meerkat, and I still have a bigger following on Meerkat than I do on Periscope today, but I don't Meerkat anymore. I stopped Meerkatting back in November. But here's the thing. I don't think scheduled posts kill authenticity. I think piss poor engagement and people that use automation as an excuse to not have to be social on social media are actually ruining it. But here's I guess the piece for me that is really, really important is that the big piece, I'm not Meerkatting anymore because I think Meerkat lost their way, forgot about how important the community was, and innovating and focusing on empowering the community. They've lost their way in that sense. Hey, Lane, how's it going? So for me, to kind of like bring this whole thing around, is what Periscope allows us to do is allows us to build authentic relationships, but also share this to Twitter and have an unfiltered group. Because the difference between Facebook as a network and Twitter communities that I'm building, Facebook, when you're connecting with people on Facebook, it's people connecting to people. But on Twitter, when I have I host a Twitter chat show, guess what that Twitter chat show is? It's a hashtag. You don't have to follow Brian Fanzo. You follow the hashtag, because the hashtag is the glue for the conversation that the community is coming together around. And Periscope, because it leverages Twitter and it allows us to post this to Twitter, have our audience share this to Twitter, not only does it allow us to leverage the networking benefits, but it allows us to build a community of people that might not like every scope Brian Fanzo scopes, but guess what? They all of a sudden love when I talk about personal branding or technology or influencer marketing. For me, the game changer in Periscope is that we can all tell our story, because we all have a story to tell, and we're able to push this and share it to Twitter. And Twitter is an unfiltered fire hose of communities. And that, in my opinion, is a game changer. So with that, I will bid you guys adieu. Thank you so much for jumping in. Give a shout out to Apple. I'm going to tweet out this this picture right now. If you guys retweet this off of the account, give some Periscope some love, as they it is definitely probably a big day in the Periscope world. So if Meerkat could post directly to Twitter, what would you think of it? No, I don't think Meerkat's problem, Dan, was not posting to Twitter. It was their ability that they forgot what was making them awesome, and it was the people and the community, not the crazy technology with all these crazy APIs and these stupid decisions. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, find a way to show you care. Go above and beyond to find a way to thank somebody and make a difference in someone else's life. When you do that, and something as simple as a smile or a thank you, they'll remember you, and that's where it all starts.